Today, we're taking a round trip between Tacoma and Olympia, but the return trip will be a unique experience. We'll be cruising aboard the Virginia 5, a 1922 steamship that served on Puget Sound between Seattle and Tacoma. Starting at the port of Olympia, we'll make the 4-hour cruise up Budd Inlet through the lower part of the Sound, under the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, and ending at the Foss Seaport on the Tacoma waterfront. But first, we need to get to Olympia. For that, we'll be traveling aboard Amtrak's Coast Starlight from Tacoma Dome Station to Olympia Lacey Station. My parents picked me up at Lacey, and we proceeded to the Olympia waterfront, where the Harbor Days Festival was in full swing. After checking out the vendors and ships, and grabbing lunch, we headed to the V to check in, check out the ship, and find seats for the cruise. We were 3 of just 11 passengers.
Now is that an island or?
They've said there was still a facility in the center of Ireland that was high security or something. I think he knows more about it. Yeah.
narrative points about things you're seeing along the way. If you look to the right, you'll see a vast open field there. That is the Chambers Bay Links Course. It was prior to that, it was a gravel quarry for 100 years there. I mean, there's two of them, and they were quarried together to make that one big open space. So there's still quarrying in the area down by DuPont. That's loaded onto a right side, you'll see a community down there. That is the community of Stillington, the oldest community on Puget Sound. The oldest military installation was there, Fort Stillington. The ferries running out of there go to Anderson Island, which we left behind us on the right quite a while ago there, and also the restricted ferries that go to McNeil Island, where there is still some incarceration in place there. Stillington has an interesting claim to fame. They think that they are the location of the world's first online romance. When the telegraph came in back in the late 1800s, the operator hired a young woman to be his shift alternate there, and as the telegraphers were wont to do, they would practice their Morse code with the adjacent operators, and so the assistant operator down in Olympia and the white young lady in Sullivan practiced their code, eventually began to saying more conversational stuff, and eventually they met and fell in love and got married. The world's first online romance. Bay Island, Tacoma Beach on your right. And coming up ahead, of course, are the Tacoma Narrows bridges. How many bridges do you see there? I think you see two, if you do, but there are three. First one, St. Galloping Bridge, is on the bottom. Opened on July 1st, 1940, on 12, I think on November 3rd, 1940. The Blue Bridge, which is the first one we'll go under, opened about 2006. This is something that was about a year and a half ago here in Minnesota. And we'll walk across that bridge if you like over 9 miles. We'll drive, but hundreds around. So it's nice. Well, when the storm came in November, winds climbed up to about 40 miles per hour. Well, they looked at the miles per hour as the boat, but this was 50,000 isolate over off the city. Then after a while, it began to click. And it's supposed to be for quite a while, almost an hour. Quite violently. So the floor fell apart, the fire was straight to the building down, and that was all caught on film at the time. This, of course, is one of the Eagle World War II, so the bridge was dismantled and the steel was used for a war effort. When the 1950 bridge was built, the Eagle construction of the original structure that took 50 years ahead of power of the original one. The concrete portion of one of them was made flexible when the wood steel powder bond from one of the but here, the steel here on the left side, or the left side, is actually original to the supported bridge as well.
Funny with this angle, it almost looks like the cars on the second bridge are going under.
Anybody been under these bridges before?
Yep. Back in the old days when Amtrak used to actually go
Yeah,
under
oh
these
yeah, I
ones.
know. I worked
The
on that
good
train,
old days.
so yeah, we missed this route.
I mean, I get why they changed it, but
sturdy girder you're looking at.
Yeah, now, yeah.
And you can see the open grate work there.
Yeah. Seeing that, and I think grade school they showed us the video of that.
What's that?
I said I think in grade school they
Yeah.
showed us the video of that. And then of course in college. Yeah.
But it wouldn't have burning on the pipe. It only get the good
Happened here in 1864. It became Old Tacoma in 1873 when the Northern Pacific Railway came to town. The nation's second land-grant transcontinental railroad and had an act of Congress that it was chartered under, signed by Abraham Lincoln in 1864, and it required them to reach tidewater of Puget Sound by the end of 1873. This being where Tacoma was located, they were bound to come here, but at the last minute, some property owner became rather stubborn and a little slow, and the railroad was running short of time and as well as cash. So they said, well, the heck with you, we'll bring our tracks down to tidewater someplace else. And immediately, that's where downtown Tacoma became, and overnight, Tacoma became Old Tacoma. Now, as we look ahead, you will see the giant grain terminal there. That's where ships take grain from railroad trains, freight trains in the heartland. Grain has long been brought in by rail here, shipped overseas. Way back, it came in sacks, in boxcars, and was loaded on square-rigged sailing ships, right about where we'll be tying up, as a matter of fact.
town hall over there is like, I don't know of another Pacific time. I mean, you really gotta go to like Santa Barbara, California. And I love it because it's shaped like a.
Once our signs down there, anyway.
It's pretty cool. So let's see. Yeah.
But yeah, I've already put her on one or two weeks and maybe. That's a beautiful area. That's okay.
So the building over there, the second one, that's the Maritime Museum.
Yeah, I think I'd be nervous being a little closer to those other boats.
Maybe come back to this one. Yeah, right there. Yep.
So what he's gonna do is. What's it? Yeah, you did. They're right here.
For the hatch. There's a hatch with okay in there.
Yeah, we went a couple years ago. It's definitely was.
Can't we get a brass line across or something? We gotta get back
It's
in
not
this
bad.
spot.
I
Put a mallet across.
Give it 2/3 the head.
2/3. George did. And I think he went there.
We're gonna get 2/3 the head to get it close to the
They
side.
have a massive amount of woodworking.
Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you're ever in Seattle, I suggest you go find the Virginia 5 on Lake Union, behind the Museum of History and Industry. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have to go retrieve our cars.